Malaysians like to complain about the ringgit depreciating. And so their solution to this is to invest in the US stock market. Over the past 1 year, the best performing stock on the S&P 500 index, which is the number one index in the US stock market, is NVIDIA. It's up 235% as of this recording. Did you know in that same time frame, a Malaysian company did way better? That company's name is YTL Power, up 450% in the same time period. In fact, in 2024 alone, it's nearly up 60%. Yet so many Malaysians miss this opportunity in their own backyard because the grass is always greener on the other side, am I right? But the big question is, can this keep going? Keep watching to find out. So I'll be sharing with you a few things about YTL Power. Number one, why has it gone up so much? Number two, a brief background and history on the company. Number three, we take a look at some of the numbers. And then number four, which is probably the most important one, whether it's still worth buying at this price. The first reason why YTL Power has done so well is power generation. The company generates power for Singaporeans mainly through their subsidiaries, Power Seraya and Geneco. Now, as you can see here, the Uniform Singapore Energy Prices, or USEP for short, is up quite a bit since 2021. So basically, when the prices go up, YTL Power will profit. Interestingly, revenues already grew by 70% in financial year end 2022, yet the prices only started moving in 2023. The second reason the stock price has gone up so much is AI and data centers. Recently, they went into a partnership with NVIDIA. But the big question is, how did a Malaysian company supply so much energy to Singapore and be able to work with NVIDIA? Let's take a brief look at their history. Yeo Tiong Lei, or YTL for short, and his father started in the construction industry during the 1960s. Back then, they were building a lot of army houses, schools, and all sorts of other buildings when it was all the rage back when Malaysia just got independence. Then fast forward to the 80s, it was hospitals, universities, and high-rise buildings. By the way, if you want to check out the full history of YTL Corporation, go check out our friends Do It's video on it. It's really, really useful. Now here's where YTL Power starts coming into the picture. 1993, they became the first IPP, or Independent Power Producer in Malaysia. What is an IPP? In 1990, the Malaysian government privatized the National Electricity Board to become TNB and allowed IPPs to supply power in Malaysia. In 1992, a few companies were awarded these IPP licenses so that they can build and sell electricity to Tenaga. This allowed them to make a big chunk of profits. Of course, the first IPP awarded was to YTL Power, which is a subsidiary of YTL Corp. The story of IPPs and their formation is actually quite interesting. In 1992, Malaysia actually experienced a 2-day blackout due to a bolt of lightning. This is when the Mahathir government decided that Malaysia needed to diversify their energy generation capabilities away from Tenaga Nasional. However, Tenaga still had a monopoly in the transmission and distribution of energy, but they had to give up on generation. The licenses were awarded to 5 companies. Number 1, Genting Sanyen, which is Lim Gotong. Number 2, Segari Energy, which is MRCB. Number 3, Powertech Berhad. This is owned by Ananda Krishnan. Number 4, Port Dickson Power Berhad, now MRCB, a mix of MRCB, Sime Darby and Malakoff. And of course, finally, YTL Power. Now, at the time, the biggest challenge that YTL faced was that the business that they were in, construction mainly, was very cyclical, very up and down. You buy land, you build the properties, you market the properties, and then you sell the properties. You rinse and repeat. If they don't repeat this, there will be no sales and there will be no company. This is the main motivation for getting into the IPP power generation business, whereby the cash flows from IPPs are recurring in nature. At the end of every month, you and I have to pay our electricity. Having this as another business unit will help smoothen out the down cycles in their cyclical subsidiaries. Hello investors, are you tired of going through endless complex financial reports? Maybe you're sick of all the information overload? Want a faster, easier way to research stock investments? Well, we've got the solution for you. Introducing FIRL Pro. FIRL Pro is your go-to source for concise, easy to understand stock reports. we shortcut your research journey by 90%. Each report is crafted to be straightforward yet informative, taking no more than 15 minutes to read. That's right, just 15 minutes to unlock key insights about stock investments. The program works especially well if you are busy with work, family, and activities. The best part, it's totally risk-free because we offer a hassle-free money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied after purchasing it, just email us here within 10 days of purchase for a full refund. No questions asked. Not sure about the program yet? No problem. You can check out our free sample reports available in the video description or comments below. It's a great way to experience the FIRL Pro advantage firsthand. Get informed with FIRL Pro. YTL managed to get their loans denominated in ringgit, which is a really shrewd move considering that a few years later, there was the Asian financial crisis where the ringgit started to heavily depreciate. But here's the thing, they had no experience in building a power plant. But you know, as the saying goes, right? Say yes now and think about how later on. So they got to work and they started learning from a German company, Siemens. And what's impressive is that they built the power plant in 2 years, which is half the typical time. Their 1,200 megawatt plant was a massive success. And then finally, in 1997, they listed on Bursa Malaysia. But you know, Malaysia is too small. In May 2002, just 5 years after listing, YTL Power acquired Wessex Water in the UK for £1.24 billion. This is another recurring revenue venture. Overnight, the overseas revenue for YTL Power grew from 0% to 9.1%. In 2002, the revenue for the water segment is 137 million ringgit. By 2023, the number is 4.4 billion ringgit. What they make in revenue today is almost equal to what they paid for the whole business back in 2002. Now, because they've been producing power in Malaysia, they also started to grow confident that they can do it for other countries. And so they decided to go into Singapore. In March 2009, they acquired Power Seraya in Singapore for a total of 3.6 billion Sing dollars. Power Seraya has 25% of Singapore's total licensed generation capacity. In 2009, the revenue that they got from Power Seraya was 3.28 billion ringgit. As of 2023, that number ballooned to 16.28 billion. So by 2023, 97% of YTL Power sales was generated overseas. If you ever needed a hedge or a protection from the ringgit depreciating, this is it. Now it's time for the big question. The stock is up a lot. Is it still okay to enter? Or for some of you all who are already holding it, should you keep holding on to it? Unfortunately, I do not know the precise answer as I cannot predict the future. But I can share with you some things that I think are useful that can help you in your decision-making process. So starting with the pros, I think the first thing and probably the most important thing is that YTL Power is connecting themselves, exposing themselves to all the right industries. And by right industries, I mean futuristic industries, namely power, green energy, and AI. All three of these sectors, you can see 10 to 20 years from now, it's still going to be around. The Johor data center that they are building is very, very exciting. And a lot of this is due to the pent-up and ever-growing demand for storage thanks to AI. And because for Singapore, who wants to be an AI hub, they will not have the cheap land made available for storage. And that's where Johor comes in. And YTL Power is well prepared. For the power generation front, of course, we can only expect Singapore to consume even more electricity. But unfortunately, it means that Singaporeans would have to pay more electricity prices as we go. But the point is, your electricity bill, whether you're Malaysian or Singaporean, will only ever go up. It never goes down. Now, all of this improved businesses means that their dividends might increase as well, especially if they maintain their payout. So that's a second booster, you can call it. Now, this is great because once they pay even more dividends, it will prove to be more attractive for some of the big funds like EPF, which will provide upwards pressure for the stock price, in theory. And of course, the valuations at 10 times earnings is not overly crazy. It's not like the glove mania. Now, I would want to caution you with some risks that you need to know of. And I would say mainly it is psychological. According to i3 Investor, 44 analysts gave a buy call on YTL Power, but 0 gave a sell call. So no doubt there's an element of herd mentality going on with YTL Power. Does this mean that it's time for you to get out? Maybe, maybe not. But the feeling I get is that it's eerily similar to the gloves bull run. Although I want to re-emphasize, the businesses that YTL are going in is a lot more secure compared to the spike in orders for gloves that the top 4 glove makers experienced during COVID-19. Now, personally, what do I think of all this? I think the fundamentals of YTL Power is amazing. I think their future is bright, and I think what they're doing for Malaysia, putting Malaysia on the map when it comes to the futuristic industries, is on point. I'm quite sure as a company, they're going to get even more valuable over time. But does this mean that I'll put my money into the company? Currently, the answer is no, mainly because I have other ideas that I have. But hey, if you feel confident with YTL Power, be my guest. Go ahead. But what do you think? Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you feel that I left out certain things, or maybe I should not have said certain things? Let me know in the comments. But thank you for watching the video.